Welcome everybody to the final pre-launch climate restoration briefing. So over the last few months, we have mobilized our community, we established our teams, and we're at the final stretch preparing for the historic launch of the 25-year mission to restore the climate by 2050. So as you can see, today we're T minus 49 days. This is going to be our last public event for 2025. And so this is an opportunity for everybody to understand what we're doing and step in at the right place at the right time. Very good. So we're ready to begin.
We are the future generations. We do not vote, so governments don't prioritize us. We do not pay taxes, so we are not in the budget. We do not buy products, so corporations ignore us. But you, our parents, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, you have the power now. You are writing the story we will be born into. Will it be a world of chaos and collapse, or one of restoration, beauty, and life? We ask you to be bold, to stand up for us when no one else will, to make the choices today that will give us a tomorrow. Join the Climate Restoration Alliance. Sign the Climate Restoration Resolution. Fund the projects that restore the climate. Speak for us until we can speak for ourselves.
Good. So our 25-year mission is to restore the climate by 2050 to safe pre-industrial levels. Right, so we've seen this before. We're going to say it again for the new people that joined. This has been our vision since we started about 8 years ago. And great acknowledgement to Peter for creating that vision and for creating this movement. It's safe to say that there are now hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that heard about climate restoration, discuss climate restoration, promote climate restoration, and want climate restoration as our climate goal. And so we're going to make that happen. The cost to restore the climate is surprisingly low, about $1 billion a year when we restore the climate at full scale. Just to compare, right, Apple's marketing budget is $4 billion a year. And the New York City Sanitation Department budget is $1.8 billion a year. So $1 billion a year to restore the climate and, change the course that humanity is on right now is completely doable. And I want to emphasize that we don't need that $1 billion right now. Our next goal is to raise about $25 million for the next 2 years to demonstrate the technology, the solution, the measurement equipment, and so on. And we believe that once we demonstrate this solution and show that it works and that it's safe, this will open the door for billions of dollars to come in for implementation. On that note, we're expanding our organization, our teams, and so specifically we're looking for a development manager to hire on a part-time basis to help us raise the money we need next year. So if you are a development manager, or if you know somebody, please send them our way, reach out. This is going to be a key position starting next year. Our main climate restoration pathway is Ocean Iron Fertilization, and we have our movement leader here, Peter Fiakovsky, to walk us through the process. Peter, please.
Great. Ilan, thank you. And everybody, thank you for being here. We have a great I'm looking at 41 participants. This is just phenomenal. So, Alana and everyone, good work. So, I'm going to give a quick summary of where we are and where we're going and how we're going to get there and do all of that in about 90 seconds. So, we all want to, a lot of you have heard this before and enjoy it so you can deliver it yourself. We all want to give our children a safe climate like we were given, 20 or 50 years ago. And we know that nature removes that CO2 during ice ages over and over and over again. We know it can be done. We know it can be done safely. And how we're going to do it is the same way, which is photosynthesis in the ocean. In the ocean, when on land, when trees die, they rot and the carbon goes back in the air eventually. In the ocean, when algae grows, after it dies, it sinks, or the animals that eat it sink, especially if it's in a downwelling eddy, which is a big whirlpool, maybe 100 miles in diameter, which pulls the water down and pulls the algae down before it gets eaten and digested and metabolized by all the fish. So nature makes that the algae grow uh, by fertilizing it with the missing micronutrient, which is iron. And nature provides that iron by dust storms, by dust, especially from the Sahara. If you think about the pink Sahara dust, what makes it pink is iron, and iron is doesn't that tends to sink in the ocean, and so it doesn't stick around. That's why the ocean is usually blue because there's not enough iron. So when we can provide that same iron by essentially distributing it from the back of a boat in exactly the right spots. And that's why we can do it for such a small amount of money, for less than $1 billion for the whole planet. And uh, so instead of in a volcanic eruption or dust storm, we use the ship. The phytoplankton can grow fish, and so it leads to enhanced fisheries, and that gives a lot of nations interest in supporting it. And there's enough carbon removed that we can measure it. How much is removed just by measuring the CO2 in the air. So we put a CO2 sensor on a buoy, and one upwind, another one downwind of where the downwelling eddy is. And the difference between them is how much is removed. The result is it's about 100 or 1,000 times less expensive than the ocean scientific methods, which are great for doing science, but this is about engineering. So what we'll be doing is getting the iron, and it's just iron dust, so it could come from a steel mill or a iron mine. So it's extremely cheap, and the ships will distribute it, and then both the buoys and satellites will measure the results and help us optimize the process. So, Alana, any questions on that?
Well, just to let everybody know, Peter is on vacation right now, so he's not going to stay with us for the whole hour. The presentation is going to be about an hour, and then we're going to have another 30 minutes for Q&A. But since Peter is not going to stay for the Q&A, we're going to open it up for maybe 2 or 3 questions from the audience. So if you have a question, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, and Julie will call on you. And then you can ask your question. Are there any questions specifically about OIF?
Well, I'll add a comment while people are thinking about their question. Uh, what we're doing is what I call localized OIF, and so because we're only doing it in the downwelling eddy. And so if you Google it, you'll see a lot of articles about ocean iron fertilization and or OIF. Traditionally, the scientific articles have thought of it as distributing the iron over the whole ocean. They call it basin-wide ocean fertilization. The problem with that, of course, is that it changes the whole ecosystem, and that is something that nobody wants. and no one has ever seriously considered doing. But made it easy to make computer models because you just have one item for the whole ocean. We're doing it only in the downwelling eddies, which means it's less than 1% of the ocean that's being modified, not even modified, being fertilized. And it's being fertilized in the same way that nature does it continuously in various other parts of the ocean. So we call it localized ocean fertilization.
Very
Okay,
good.
and Michael
Thank you, Peter.
Polarski has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yes, somewhat relating to what you just said, there are, I know, other people in the world that are trying to do the same thing, fertilizing phytoplankton in the ocean. How many other people are close to where you're at? You're sort of talking about doing it single-handedly here with this organization and project, but I'm hoping that a lot of other people are going to be trying to do this as well. It's not only up to you, but how far along are other people? Where are we at with the movement overall?
Oh, that's a very good question, Michael. Where are we at? What are other people doing? The other people are still doing the science. And so they're asking what kind of phytoplankton grow and what happens to oxygen levels and nutrient levels and are there viruses and so on and so on. So they're analyzing the science. We're the only group that's doing it as a engineering project to implement it, unfortunately. But I think we all agree with you, Michael. I certainly agree with you. We do want to get competition, but if you read the literature about climate, everyone says, "Oh, it has to be science-based," which means that the funding only goes to the scientists, and they're not the scientists aren't allowed to change the situation. They're allowed only to make measurements of what nature does and predict what will happen if we don't do anything. And of course, that's exactly what they do. They're not allowed to predict what will happen if we do something because they don't know what we're going to do. So anyway, great question.
Yeah, and I want to
Okay, and
add to
Nate,
that, Michael, that we're not against science. We don't think science is bad. We just think
Right.
science is slow and not necessarily focused on the goal. So what we believe is going to happen is that once we move this thing forward, we're going to invite the scientists to measure and monitor everything, and eventually, I believe we're going to share the protocols so that other groups can do that as well in parallel, right? So this is not about us doing it by ourselves. This is about humanity doing it together in time to change the situation.
Yeah, and that's why your leadership is so very important because the scientists aren't allowed to lead. That's not science. Individuals like us are the ones that have to do the leadership.
Okay. And based on that, are there any governmental regulation impediments that would prevent us from implementing anything?
This is always a great question. Technically, well, we are going to be getting permits from the EPA. We're in conversation with them. Yeah, you could say a lot about it, but EPA, when I've talked with them, they're very excited about helping us get those permits through. The people at EPA have children, and they actually know that the only way that their children are going to have a planet, for sure have a planet to live on, is if they get these things permitted.
Okay.
So it's very exciting to work.
Nathan Weiser has been waiting with a question.
Yeah, so let's take a question from Nathan, and then Michael, you want to add something, and then we'll continue with the presentation. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, yeah, Nathan Weiser here. I'm in Golden, Colorado, USA, where we just had 9 inches of snow. But my question is relating to the approximately 1% of the ocean surface being used for this, and how I assume the model that you've run as to the uptake of CO2 out of the atmosphere through that surface accounts for the fact that I guess 99% of the ocean is not doing this chemical reaction. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's based on measurements from the 2 sets of measurements. One is from the When Pinatubo erupted in 1991, uh, 20, roughly 20 gigatons of CO2 were removed in a year from that area where the ash fell. And that gives us the basis for our calculation. So it's been demonstrated. Now, there could be a fly in the ointment, but the only way to find the fly in the ointment is to spread the ointment. Step by step is one always does in science and engineering.
Okay, thanks.
Very good, Nathan. And we have a meeting scheduled for Monday, so we'll be able to kind of go deeper into this. Michael, did you want to add something?
Yes, just quickly, I want Peter to hear this. So when we do the Global Earth Repair Convergence in May, we would like you to, if you would be willing to either to give a presentation, because I'm trying to point out our best solutions we have on the planet. So anyway, there's an invitation for you.
Good. Send me the info. I'll be happy to.
Michael, can you just say, because I don't remember what your background is. Are you a scientist?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a farmer.
A farmer, okay.
And a researcher and a student, and I've been studying this stuff since the 70s. So I'm up on many of the solutions.
Very good. All right, we shall continue. Thank you very much for these great questions. So this is our timeline. The next 5 years are going to be critical. And I really like this expression, the next 5 years will determine the next 500. So we are planning to scale up OIF operations over the next 5 years. Making sure the equipment works, that we know how to do the protocols, and where to put the iron and how to measure everything and so on. And then starting 2030, are planning to restore the climate at full capacity. We estimated at around 50 sites around the globe. So for around 300 square kilometers per site times 50 sites, you can do the calculation. It's definitely less than 1% of the world oceans. If you notice, this slide is slightly different than the previous one, because we started to actually dive into the details and realize that long term, it would probably be much more effective and cost effective to have motherships deliver the iron to a robotic vessels that run around the eddy and disperse the iron. Obviously, everything can change. We're still in the planning and the R&D phase. But 50 sites should give us the removal of 60 gigatons of CO2 per year. So 50 gigatons per year times 20 years, that's roughly the trillion tons of CO2 we need to remove from the atmosphere. And the extra 10 gigatons is to account for the emissions that we can't completely eliminate. So over these 5 years, we're going to design and build what we call the climate restoration system, right? We know that we're going to need people, we're going to need money, we're going to need partnerships, we're going to need iron, and we'll figure out how the whole thing is organized, how money is flowing, legal agreements, legal entities, supply chains, and so on. And the bottom line is that we want this system to be able to fertilize the ocean in around 50 locations at the right place, the right time, the right way. Before we talk about how we're going to design the system and the teams that we've set up for this, I want to acknowledge Kevin Shanley, that came up with this great idea of the OIF Challenge Grant. We started this process about 3 months ago. Kevin said, I'm going to pledge $100,000 if you can match it. And so we invited climate restoration founders and champions to match that grant.
Hello, I'm Kevin Shanley, and I want to share with you why I think it's critical to support the Ocean Iron Fertilization Project, otherwise known as the OIF Pilot Project. I believe, from readings of available scientific information, that we're dancing along the edge of a potential civilizational collapse due to the ever-increasing use of fossil fuels over the last 200 years and the concomitant buildup of carbon dioxide and methane in our atmosphere to levels never seen in the history of humankind. Right now, numerous internationally recognized institutions have scientific and academic ocean carbon research projects that may span decades. But we don't have decades to decide what to do before reaching severe climate tipping points. And that's why the OIF pilot project is so important. We need a real-world, carefully monitored demonstration of the effectiveness of spreading tiny amounts of iron in a downwelling ocean eddy to show the cost-effectiveness and safety of this climate restoration approach. This is important enough to me that I have offered the Climate Restoration Alliance a challenge grant to raise the money for their small technical team of scientists and engineers to move forward with a pilot project. I encourage each of you to consider acting now to vouchsafe a healthy climate for your family, your community, the country, and the planet. Make a 3-year commitment of just $5,000 per year to make real steps toward that healthy climate and become a climate champion. If just 20 of you make this commitment before the end of the year, I will match it with a $100,000 gift. This offer will repeat itself for the next 3 years if 20 additional individuals make the commitment each year, resulting in a total of $1.2 million to move the pilot project forward. If there is someone out there with deeper pockets than mine and who can double the challenge grant for each of the succeeding 3 years, we can raise the $10 or $12 million that's needed for the full pilot project. And I'd like to hope we can raise more than that, so the pilot project can have more in-depth monitoring and a longer period of testing. This is a small but vitally important step toward a restored climate for all. Please act now to make this vital step. Thank you.
As you can see, we're almost there. We're looking for 2 more champions to pledge $5,000 a year for 3 years. And then we're going to cross the finish line, and we can shift our focus to actually building the teams and doing the work. If there's any way that we can complete this process today at this meeting and have 2 people, 2 champions step in and pledge $5,000 a year for 3 years starting in December, then we can be done with this. It was an extremely fascinating experience over the 3 months, and I think now we can see at least half of the people here have been with us through the entire journey. While you're thinking about if it's the right thing for you to join us, right? There's a few ways that you can join. We have Climate Restoration Angels that pledge $100,000 a year for 3 years. If somebody steps in as an angel right now, then we're going to reach not only the 200,000, right, the 100,000 to match the challenge grant, but we're actually going to complete our fundraising campaign for this year. To match the challenge grant, we need 2 champions pledging $5,000 a year for 3 years. Another way to become a founder is to pledge $100 a month for 3 years. And you're going to have the link in the chat. You can do it right now. And for those that want to invest their time rather than their money, you're going to see in a minute the teams that we've set up, and you're more than invited to jump in and help.
Chuck Tomaselli just jumped in as a champion.
Really? Oh my God. Do the applause, everybody. Thank you very much, Chuck. All right, one more. We need one more. So in the meantime, I want to acknowledge the people that have helped make this happen. Some of them are ambassadors, some of them are champions, some of them are volunteers. And if I left anybody out, I apologize. Our lists are not 100% in order. So I'm going to start with Peter Fiakovsky, Mark Pomerantz, Arnold Graboka, who helped us write the grant application, Bob Wright, our beloved treasurer, Keir Clotton, Kevin Shanley, Diane Warren, Frank and Terry Sanitate, Eloise and Richard Chevier, Linda Vernoy, Ron Matheson, Ray Sanby, Melody Trent, Bob Fisher, Peter Garrett, Robert Carey, and Jane Lawton, Terry Molnar, Carl Page, Marcus Cooper, Tim Pearson, Chuck Tomaselli, Judy Owens Manley, Frank Mondi, Alan Burnham, Joe Brabeck, A.M. Knoll, Dr. Sukla Das, Bob Wright is showing up twice. Matthew Savoca, our in-house ocean health advisor. Robert Chan, Bob Fisher, John Hacker, Brian Webster, Tim Chamberlain, who's been waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to join the meetings from New Zealand. Rohit Halegani from India, who's doing the digital marketing. Beth Mugu and Rose Kaibi from Kenya. Osolio Apollinaire, our climate restoration ambassador to Benin. Chuck Woolery, David Jones, Debbie Levine, Antares Janeri, Benzion Gagula, Captain Hugo, Dr. Paula Nobel Fellingham, Jen Bonilla, Mark Biondi, Mark Hoppen, Andre Dumoulin, our climate preservation ambassador to Panama, Mikal Pondo, Kenneth Omondi Oching Cornes, and Fanuel Kiprono. The last three are from Kenya. And then we have close to 80 donors that have been supporting us on a monthly basis and so on. So thank you very much for everybody. Do we have another champion? Not yet. All right. So let's talk about what happens next.
I think Ilan, you ought to linger a moment. Just like all of the people that have been participating together. And, we've come to a certain point, and there's still more to go. But that possibility is just so present of 2050, 2030, even 2026, way more visible than it was a year ago.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Julie, for bringing the heart and the intention into it. And yes, I saw a huge difference once we've announced this timeline. Well, we said, we're not waiting anymore. We're just going to do it. Something shifted in people's minds. And I like to quote Frank Sanitade that, he said, when there is a plan, it makes me want to join and want to play. So there is a plan, and we are the people to make that happen. So the first 6 months of 2026, we're going to work to build the plans and the roadmaps. And again, we're going to review the teams in a minute. And then as soon as possible, we're going to start the scale-up process, while at the same time in the background, we have some pilot tests and some ocean tests and so on to move OIF forward. So before we talk about the teams that are going to start the work in January, I want to recap the amazing progress that we had this year. So I'll start from left to right. There's a lot of information on the screen. So follow me. Top left, we have the buoy test that actually started in 2024 and was completed in the kind of second quarter of this year with an ocean test that led to Kevin stepping in with the OIF Challenge Grant, which really kind of put our work on a whole new level. We created the Message from Future Generations and the Climate Restoration Pledge campaign to understand why we're doing this and for whom. We've expanded our climate restoration ambassadors, and we're going to talk about that program. And we see great potential with having people all around the world from different walks of life, geographies, faith, communities, cultures, speak the message of climate restoration to their audience in their language. We have the Climate Restoration Resolution campaign, right? If the pledge is for individuals to step in and commit, the Climate Restoration Resolution is for organizations, and Chuck and Judy are going to talk about that and our relationship with Rotary. We had 18 Zoom webinars over the years. Some of them are community updates, ambassador gatherings, founder gathering, and so on. We went to Togo in August, and you can see the tall white person in the middle, that's Kirk, and everybody around him. We're going to let We're going to hear from Kirk in a minute. We created the Climate Restoration Founders Circle, the 1,000 people and organizations that will go down in the books of history as those who made climate restoration happen. We've announced our plan to restore the climate and the launch in January, and we did all of that with about $250,000 that we've raised. I think very cost effective, and imagine what we can do with 2.5 million or with 25 million or 250 million. Very good. These are the teams we're going to start the year with. The steering committee, who's been evolving from the original steering committee that's been leading this movement for the last 2 years. Special thanks to Chuck, Judy, and Frank for leading that. The steering committee is going to evolve now and kind of oversee the coordination of the whole ecosystem.
I have to interrupt you, Ilan. We have another champion.
Oh, wow. Yes, always interrupt when there's a
Marcus.
champion.
Marcus Fromhurst, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Fromhurst.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Marcus, do
Yay.
you want to say something? Thank you very much for stepping in. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm a scientist, computer scientist and engineer in Silicon Valley. I've followed Peter for quite a few years. I've been at his house a few times as we've had, celebrated various steps of the what was it, Climate Restoration Foundation. And yeah, I'm glad to see that it sounds like a renegade project to me still to some degree. Let's just do it. And I still have a lot of questions regarding how this, how you're going to protect yourself against lawsuits and get permissions or not and all that. But I like the can-do spirit, and so I'm happy to support that.
Thank you very much, Marcus. And we're happy to set up a more intimate Zoom with you to get to know you and to hear those questions. The way that it's been happening, and it's just amazing. When people stepped in as champions, they also stepped in not just financially, but also helping with advice, with really good questions, insights, contacts, and so on. So every person that steps in brings a lot with them, more than just the $5,000. Thank you very much, Marcus, for that. Very good. So,
that
Judy.
Completes it, Ilan.
Sorry?
That completes the 100,000
Yes,
bags.
yes, AM. And I think we're going to do the pat on the back towards the end of the session because, yes, this is very, very exciting. We started this a few months ago and we're now at the finish line thanks to Chuck and Marcus. So thank you very much. It doesn't mean that we don't have room for more champions, right? So if you feel cold, we can use every dollar to make this happen. So going back to the teams, right? So we have the OIF team moving OIF forward, dealing with the main question, how to scale OIF in 5 years. The global movement team, along with the ambassador program, the blended finance, dealing with the question, how to ensure sufficient and uninterrupted funding for climate restoration, even in the face of uncertainty and lack of stability, because we don't know what's going to happen. But whatever happens, we still need to restore the climate. And then the partnership team still working closely with the global movement and the industry team to make everything work in between. So let's start with the OIF team. I'm going to call on Ray to introduce the team. Ray, go ahead.
So the OIF team has been meeting weekly on Tuesday mornings, and we have made some good progress. We have a number of capable people involved, and we're getting more all the time. And I'm really excited to be where I'm at in this whole process. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ray. And I want to say something about what Marcus said. This started with one person, right, Peter, that says we want to restore the climate, and now we have a bunch of people. And yes, there's still questions that need to be answered. And my invitation to you, right, if you see something that is missing, right, something that we didn't think about, something that we didn't take into consideration, risk that we need to look for, and so on. Don't be afraid. Don't be concerned. Step in and speak up and say, I think we need to look at this. I think we need to figure that out. That's how we're going to get to an organization that has all the bases covered. So the purpose of the OIF team is to build a roadmap by the middle of next year to scale OIF to 60 gigatons of CO2 removal by 2030. Right, so the team is dealing with these two core questions: how to fully deploy OIF at a single site by 2028, give or take. Right, we need to know how to do it well. And then the second question is how to replicate this across 50 or so sites by 2030. To answer these questions, right, we've defined these working groups. The executive working group, which is thinking about strategy, long-term planning, and so on, the science and monitoring, what needs to be measured, by whom and how. What are we going to do with the data? How are we going to analyze, collect it, report it, and so on. And then the actual technology development and the logistics. That's what we need to do OIF well in one site. And then when we scale up, we need to figure out how to identify sites, get permits, and talk about aspects like ethics, safety, and governance. On the left, you can see the people that we're looking for right now. People that understand marine biology, people that understand engineering, how to design systems. One of the things we're thinking about is how to load the iron on the ship and how to disperse it in the ocean, right? So we need to figure that out. People that understand data to analyze, to collect, to report, and so on. People that understand CO2, people that know how to do research, people that know how to manage projects or program. But the reality is that everybody has something to give. So if you're being called to help with OIF, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a software engineer from the Silicon Valley. We're all intelligent people, and we want to see this succeed. So if that is calling to you, you have the information in the chat. You can write your name and say which team you want to join, or go to the website. We're going to share a link where you can fill a form, and we'll follow up with you. The next team is the Global Movement Team and the Ambassador Program. So I'm going to let Judy present that. Go ahead, Judy.
Just going to let somebody else in from the waiting room first.
Mm-hmm.
So our Global Movement Team and Ambassadors Program, as you can see, our purpose is we're building a movement here. And I'm just more excited than ever after listening to everyone today. What will it be to have a transnational citizen movement just around the world taking action to restore the climate? It's really going to happen in our conversations. It's not going to happen in the same way the OIF team is. It's really us building bridges to everyone around us. So we have an objective by December of next year. Like this time next year, we want to have 1 million people engaged by signing our pledges and resolutions and knowing they're on board, that we're all connected. 1,000 different organizations through our partnerships adopting the same mission. 100 ambassadors. Right now, we have about 30 ambassadors. Some of our newest ambassadors are with us today, Fanuel and Kenneth and Mika from Africa. And it's just so exciting. Just as it was today, if you weren't here at the beginning, everyone was coming on and saying where they were from. And Great Britain is here, and New Zealand, and many places in Africa, and so many places around the globe. So Chuck is going to say more about this, what we've been doing, but we want the whole world here. So there's some places still missing. And you should bring your friends and neighbors and family and join us especially. You're going to hear about January 22nd, but you don't have to wait till January. you can be in touch with us and have other people join now.
Very good. Thank you very much, Judy. And before we move over to Chuck, I just want to say a few words about the map that you're seeing here. This is our very first attempt in creating the dashboards that we're going to need to manage this global operation. So right now we just took the city and state or country of the ambassador, just put them on the map. But imagine that this is an interactive map. We have all the downwelling eddies there. We have all the ships and the ports and all the ambassadors and the network of climate restoration centers. And we can start managing this project with the right insights and the right information to make the right decisions. So that is very exciting, and I'm inviting everybody to wait and see what we're going to have ready for you for January 22nd. So Chuck, why don't you introduce yourself and share a little bit about what we're doing. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm talking on mute.
So first of all, I want to say thank you, Chuck. This is just amazing that you stepped in as a champion. Thank you very much for that. Amazing.
So in the beginning, you asked how everyone was feeling about it, and I definitely caught the excitement that was there. But what surprised me is I just been moved to tears by technical information, which blows me away. I'm just so excited to be part of this process at the moment, and my commitment has been to my two grandsons, Emerson and Lachlan, and I'm proud to be the first ambassador to the Climate Restoration Alliance and to be the ambassador that took on Rotary International. Just give you that. This whole global movement team is really the culmination of work that's been done for a number of years now. It started back in, well, it was 7 years ago. I attended a citizens climate lobby for the Northeast Regional Conference in Troy, New York. And that was where I had just the serious climate work has started. I returned back home, which is central New York, to engage with a group called SRAG. SRAG is the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, which is a global group of Rotarians committed to climate restoration. And I found out that we didn't have any, so I set up a presentation to deliver to the Rotary clubs. And I delivered it to some 39 Rotary clubs. This even occurred throughout the COVID process, where over 400 Rotarians joined the task force, which we then started having presentations and meetings on a regular basis and have taken and continued since then. Every presentation that we had at the clubs directly, we displayed an 8-foot banner. And this is the focus of the global movement team. And on that banner, it said, R.I. President, the president of Rotary International, declared that climate change is Rotary's business. And this is the first time that was really taken on. And the bottom of the banner said, let's do our part and keep the conversation alive. So the global movement team is an extension of that, keeping the conversation alive. And this conversation is we are going to restore the climate. Also at it, that same meeting, and at every meeting, we had a short video clip of Catherine Hayhoe. And in that clip, she said her well-often quote, "One thing that all of us can do to promote restoring our planet's climate is to talk about it." The global movement team will focus on communicating that we're going to get our planet restored. And the other teams will take care of how it's done. We're going to be the force that communicates it. So our climate restoration global movement team will communicate that restoring the climate is an idea whose time has come and is everybody's business, as Judy has mentioned. The global movement team will focus our activities on engaging with one individual at a time, one city at a time, one county at a time, one state or province at a time, one country at a time, until we've met together a global conversation that supports and empowers climate restoration. So if there's anyone out there who enjoys sharing with others what you're passionate about, whether it's a good meal or a great movie or a planet in which our future generations and our grandchildren and children can all flourish on, I invite you to become a founding member of the Climate Restoration Alliance Global Movement Team. So one other thing about enrollment and the conversation. Years ago, I did a course that talked about enrollment. And it said enrollment is causing a new possibility to be present for another, such as they are touched, moved, and inspired by that possibility. Well, the possibility that the global movement team has got the opportunity to share is that we will restore the planet's environment. I leave it to the other teams as to figure out how, and we're just going to stay in touch and communicate. Thank you for listening to me. I'll answer any questions. We have not met yet as a team, and so you have the opportunity to join us. Please consider it.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chuck, for what you said and for everything that you're doing. And for those who don't know Chuck, he's doing so much, not just for climate restoration, but also for peace and for Rotary. Just such a pleasure to have you with us, Chuck. So just a little bit about what we're seeing on this screen.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking care of that, Al. Ilan.
So we see examples of organizations that have adopted or signed the climate restoration resolution at the organizational, usually the board level. So we see the Citizen Climate Lobby in New Orleans, a few Rotary clubs and districts, Pachamama Alliance from Kenya, that's a recent addition, and some other organizations, including one from Pakistan. We can see the County of Santa Clara, which has passed the first county in the States, in the world, to pass the climate restoration resolution. And California did the same thing a couple of years ago. Just want to emphasize the Santa Clara and California wasn't our doing. It was other people working in the Climate Restoration Alliance, Climate Restoration ecosystem. But we wanted to bring that here because obviously that makes a huge difference. And what we've been doing so far with the ambassador program and the Climate Restoration Resolutions campaign is really to develop the prototype. And so I think now we got it. We understand how this is going to work, and with some energy behind it, maybe some funding, some more volunteers and so on, we can easily get to those numbers. What was it? 1,000 organizations, 100 ambassadors. Very good. So thank you very much.
Can I say one more thing, Ilan?
Please, Judy.
Because this is I'm seeing Climate Psychiatry Alliance there, and I know that's somebody that I reached out to, and I think sometimes we think, oh, I only have a certain number of environmental friends, and then I have these other friends who I don't know if they're interested in climate. Well, it's psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers. They just all have patients now, clients who are coming because they're so anxious about the climate. And guess what takes care of anxiety? Action. And positive movement. Very good. So I think the thing is, like Chuck said, is to be in conversation with everyone and to be an ambassador, even if you're not, I wasn't a scientist and I wasn't even an environmental person really, but I have a great interest in people. So
very good.
That's perfect, Judy. Yeah. Ilan, if I could give just a little background, because I did mean to say this.
Please.
looking at the Rotary right up there in the right-hand corner, the Rotary District 7150, the beginning of the resolutions in terms of Rotary started in the summer of 2023. And the resolution that you're seeing there, I just want to give an insight into how the resolutions were formulated. The first thing that it says is that humanity has an obligation to future generations to restore and maintain a safe climate in which humans have survived long term. So that starts it, and then there's a whole bunch of other whereases. And then at the end, which you don't see, it says, therefore, Rotary District, and it was the first Rotary District in the world. It happens to be Central New York, where I'm from, hereby resolves to have the goal of climate restoration guide and their environmental actions and advocacy for the sequestration of atmospheric carbon and the reduction of carbon emissions. And also, we call on Rotary International and their network of partners. Rotary International is 1.4 million individuals committed to service. Network of partners to restore and stabilize greenhouse gas levels as their common climate goal. And that model, it was modeled after the Santa Clara statement and continues. Currently, we have a number of networks, and one new one that came up this past week in India, that's another Rotary district. And the idea is through linking clubs and districts as well as individuals, we will build a grassroots movement. And the Rotary teams will be part of the global movement team.
Very good. So we're going to move forward because we still have some things to cover. But I just want to say, Judy, thank you for bringing that up. Obviously, we're not just reaching out to environmental organizations. I think the criteria is very simple. If you love your children, if you love your grandchildren, join the movement. So it's really everybody's business. All right, so a few words about the blended finance team with the purpose to ensure that climate restoration has sufficient and uninterrupted funding of roughly $1 billion a year. We're going to scale up to that quickly. And so this team is working on several programs that will bring in, money from different directions, different sources. We want to diversify because we don't know what's going to work and what isn't. So let me give you a few examples. Campaign to reach 1 million monthly donors. Every donor donates $10 a month. We're at $10 million a month. Replicate the model that Kevin developed with the OIF Challenge Grant, bring in more angels and then more champions that can bring in tens of millions of dollars. The Climate Restoration Founders Program, right? If every founder brings $5,000 a year, or corporate sponsorships of $25,000 a year, and so on, then we can get tens of millions of dollars for climate restoration that way. We're working on a secret project called Terra Dividends. I'm just going to say that this is a limited supply asset, that its value is tied to the level of CO2 in the atmosphere. Exciting, innovating stuff. If that calls to you, please reach out to me and Kirk or Kirk. And then also part of the working with the industry team is to develop for impact ventures that by definition give some of their profits and revenue for climate restoration. Kirk, would you like to introduce yourself and say a few words?
So my name is Kirk Lawton. I'm talking to you from Toronto, Canada, and I'm a businessman, entrepreneur, and I've been working closely with Ilan in the last year or so, and very excited to be a part of this, and just so in awe of who's here and what we're up to. And this is very exciting for me. So, Ilan, do you want me to talk about the next group, or what do you want me to say?
Yeah, if you can introduce, what we're doing in the industry team, very high level, and then I can talk about the specific examples.
Yeah, great. So, one thing that Ilan opened my eyes to, and I was interested in, and I've been participating around the issue of climate restoration, of the climate crisis. And Ilan is the one that pointed out to me that the climate crisis that we're dealing with is actually a symptom of another larger problem.
Mm.
And when I heard this, I really woke up and I realized that man there, Ilan, is a genius, because he not only is aware of this, but he's creating a plan to address it. So this other larger problem that has created the climate crisis is the for-profit corporate world that we live in. And corporations, we live in a world, I say we live in a world that's built by and for-profit corporations, and their job is to make money for their shareholders and nothing else. And it's produced a lot of great stuff for humanity. There's food on the table, and it's just amazing. And there are a lot of negative externalities, economists call it. It's not their job to pay attention to the pollution. So this problem has been known about for decades, and nothing's happening. So we're looking at creating a new environment where the incentives for organizations are properly aligned. And it's something very exciting. It's never been done before. And I'll let Ilan fill you in some more on that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Kirk. Yeah, so a wise person said you can't solve a problem with the same kind of thinking that created it. And so using the existing system, right, the for-profit and non-profit model, to fix the problem that was created by that model is probably not going to work. And so what we're doing here is we're doing not only something different, but also doing it in a different way. And I can give a few examples. We went to Togo in August to talk about a national bamboo project over there.
Dans la région des savanes au Togo, une nouvelle vision prend forme. Transformer ces terres fragiles en un poumon vert.
Hi, and thank you for watching this video. My name is Ilan Mandel, and I am the founder and CEO of the Global Brain. The Global Brain develops and coordinates organizations, companies, and projects that restore the climate, protect ecosystem, and transform our world. We need the Global Brain to coordinate and heal our global village. Today, I want to tell you about our bamboo project in Togo, a truly transformative initiative. It shows how a single project can open new opportunities for a country like Togo, advancing multiple UN Sustainable Development Goals, from climate action and no poverty to food security and resilient communities. We will be setting an example for how similar solutions can be replicated in other parts of the world. Just a few weeks ago, we returned from a highly successful visit to Togo. We met with ministers, local governments, community leaders, and more than 90 local stakeholders. The enthusiasm was overwhelming. Landowners offered land, and the government pledged full support. This trip confirmed that the bamboo project is not just an idea, it is already taking root. This initiative will create thousands of jobs, strengthen local economies, improve food and energy security, restore degraded lands, and remove CO2 to restore a safe climate for future generations. It will foster a circular economy, protect biodiversity, and is fully aligned with Togo's national development plans for ecological restoration and sustainable growth. Join us in making this vision a reality. Thank you for your support. The conversation expanded to creating the Togo Climate Restoration Center as a platform to figure out what is needed in Togo and then how to accelerate the deployment of solutions. So in that context, before I move forward, Hilaire is here with us from the UK. Would you like to introduce yourself briefly so that everybody understands why we're so excited to have you?
Thank you, Ilan.
Yes, please.
We met a week or so ago. And when you talk about Togo, what you were doing in Togo, I was very, very interested to know more about your project in Togo. And for everyone, my name is Ilan Ranyama. I am from Togo. I do live in the UK. I am the elected representative of the Togolese diaspora in the UK. So my role is to be a link between the Togo community in the UK and the government of Togo, but also the community and the government of the UK. And part of my role is to encourage and work with the diaspora, the Togolese diaspora, to look at our country as a investment, trade, and business destination, and encourage or work with other partners to look at the country as a destination. So I'm very, very pleased with what Ilan is doing in my country, and will be with an honor to be part of the team of the program you're putting in place. I like the introduction of the Ocean
Iron Fertilization.
Iron Fertilization. Togo, I put in the chat, Togo is a hub. We have a deep sea port in Togo. Though we're a small country, the population of Togo is just under 9 million. But we happen to have a deep sea port in west of Africa, on the coast of West Africa, where any ship can land in Togo. And Togo serves as a hub for the Sahel countries, but also for Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. And a particularity about the coast of Togo is the United States set up a security zone on the coast of Togo. So ships are waiting to go to Nigeria or other part of Africa, in the west of West Africa, they can then stay in Togo, at the lodge of Togo, with security. So there's a security zone there in Togo for ships going to other countries in west of Africa. And as you have visited my country, Ilan, and everyone else who visited you, you can see the legendary welcoming atmosphere of the country.
Yes.
So thank you, Ilan, for having me here or inviting me to listen, learn, and see how we can also play a part in this what you're doing, the climate restoration. I think it will be an honor. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much, Hilaire. And just imagine that we have the Togo Climate Restoration Center that is developing sustainability and climate and environmental project in Togo, and then feeding this project pipeline into the community in the UK that are investing in those projects in a trusted, reliable, and transparent way. And then imagine we replicate that model across other 45 countries, because Hilaire is representing the UK, but there are other 45 representatives from Togo around the world. So we really want to see Togo as the first model where we can implement that and accelerate the implementation of these solutions, not just for the environment and for the climate, but also for community resilience, creating jobs and sustainable development, and so on. So thank you very much, Hilaire, for that. I'm going to mention just quickly the Climate Restoration Venture Studio. Think about this as a factory that can design and build companies, projects, organizations, business models. So if anybody's interested in that, please let us know. The industry team is looking at investment opportunities. And also a really good question is how do we generate revenue from OIF? Obviously, the purpose of OIF is to restore the climate, but if we can figure out who can pay for it as a client, that will make everything easier. So that's what the industry team is about. A couple of months ago, there was a big conference in Africa talking about removing CO2 from the ocean. So the general sense, and that's what Pierre was supposed to say, but he's on vacation, that ocean marine CDR, removing CO2 in the ocean, and specifically OIF, is at a very different state than it was a few years ago, where nobody wanted to touch it, nobody wanted to talk about it. Now it's clear that the oceans are part of the solution, and OIF is a very important part of it as well. So again, these are the 6 teams. You're going to see a link in the chat to go to the website. You can just put your name if you want to join any of the team in the chat, or you can go to the website and fill out one of these forms. We have the 6 teams that are designing the roadmap, and then we're looking for some volunteers to help us with the organizational, administrative side, in operations, marketing, and so on. This is where we are, December 4. This is our final pre-launch community briefing. The conclusion of a 3-month sprint to raise the money and build the teams. And I want to thank everybody that made this such a huge, beautiful success. We're going to continue to work. Some people are leaving and going on vacations and so on. But we're going to continue to work with whoever is available, preparing for the official launch of the 25-year mission to restore the climate by 2050. On January 22nd, these are our upcoming events. You can register for January 22nd by scanning the QR code or clicking on the link in the chat. Next week, we're going to have intimate meetings with the Blended Finance Committee and another Climate Restoration Ambassadors gathering, where we're shifting the ambassador program into that bigger structure of the global movement. And you can see we still have a lot of countries and religions and cultures and places where we don't have ambassadors. So feel free to step in. And then January 22nd, please invite everybody. I would like to have at least 500 people on that webinar. And then again, I want to thank Chuck and Marcus for stepping in as champions and helping us cross the finish line. This is very, very exciting. It was a lot of hard work by a lot of people. But if there's still room for more, so if you want to jump in, now is the time. You can reach out, you can write in the chat, or raise your virtual hand. So this is the contact information. Regardless of everything else, I recommend and invite everybody to be monthly donors. Doesn't matter what the amount is, but getting that number to go up and getting that monthly reminder that we're in this together is very, very important. And so you're welcome to join.
I was thinking, Ilan, that
Yes.
as I was sitting here, and I did put this in the chat, I was thinking of who didn't I invite that I'm so mad at myself now that they weren't here. And so I started jotting down a couple of names that I wanted to make sure I brought with me in January. And I'm thinking, that some other people might be thinking that it's a great time to capture who you think, oh my gosh, they would be so interested in being here. So that we don't forget, because, as soon as we walk away, something else will get our attention.
Yes, thank you very much, Julie. Yes, this is very, very important. So get that link and have it ready to send to the people that you know, the people that you care about, the people that care about the climate. Like I said, the criteria is very simple. If you love your children, if you love your grandchildren, you're part of our movement. So come in and join us. So we're a little bit behind schedule. We have another 20 minutes. And so this is the part where we open it up. So please raise your virtual hand if you want to ask a question or give us a comment. While people are thinking what they want to say, I want to call on a few people. Robert, thank you for being Robert Chan. Would you introduce yourself briefly? Robert is part of
Yes.
our industry team. Go ahead, Robert.
Hello, my name is Robert Chun. I'm a business consultant and owner of RSC Business Group in Los Angeles and Culver City and Toronto. And what we're interested in doing is doing good, making it profitable, such a way that people are incentivized to do good for the planet and then transform corporation nonprofit such a way that it is different incentive so that we're no longer simply an engine that makes money at any cost, but something that's accountable and responsible for the planet itself. So I've been involved working with Kirk for the last few months, and I've been introduced to Ilan Mandel over last few weeks, I guess. And I'm looking forward to participating and creating a new possibility for business as a whole. So that's the project I'm involved in.
Very
Thank
good.
you,
Thank
Ilan.
you. Thank you very much, Robert. And the thing you said, I think, is very, very important, right? The biggest problem that we have right now is that the biggest problem we have right now is that our incentives are misaligned, right? Some want to make money, some want to restore the climate, and everything in between. We have for-profit pulling in that direction, non-profit pulling in that direction. The model that we're working on, which is we call the for-impact model, aligns this incentive. So it's okay to make money if you're restoring the climate and creating more good in the world. But obviously, money can't be the one thing that we're all going after. So that's part of the core conversation that we're having is how to align these incentives. So we're focused on the mission.
Yes. Ilan, may I add to that, please?
Please,
As a
yes.
humanity, we're basically living inside of a context of isms, communism, capitalism, socialism, fascism, and all the thinking, all the conversation is happening inside a domain. What's possible is to go beyond that so that we have a new paradigm for not just for ourselves, for all of us. What we're dealing with symptom of the isms, and for us to go beyond that is what's possible. And Ilan, thank you for being the founder and the creator of this possibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you. We're going to do this together. I would like to hear from John Hacker and Melanie, if you have anything to add. Linda is also on vacation. So please raise your hand and share your thoughts and feelings with us. Hugo, how are you doing?
There's Melanie.
Yeah, go ahead, Melanie.
First, okay.
Well, I was just typing into the chat, and I'll just say it out loud. I Am Humanity definitely are on board with the Climate Restoration Alliance, and I'm just recognizing, wow, we did not officiate that on your end. And so I'm not going to hesitate and do that. And I just would encourage everyone, we all have those organizations. And so to make sure that we're doing that on our end as well. And also to make sure that we're inviting all of the people and members of I Am Humanity to the event. I'm just thinking where else I can get this invitation out to for this January event. The Nextdoor app in our community has a lot of action there. There's just a lot of places that are easy to plug into, is what I'm recognizing. And I'm very, very excited about this project. I've been looking and involved around climate restoration for several years now. And the fact that we're moving forward, I do recognize that there's value in a lot of the areas we're looking, especially with, as far as renewable energy goes, as far as restoration of our whole ecosystem. But the fact that we can actually move forward on this now is just the most exciting thing that I can imagine. And so I will be looking for information coming out. Elon will put the article in. I'm trying to think, where else I can get that to. And just bravo. And thank you, everyone who is here as a champion of restoring the climate. And thank you, Hugo. I see you there on my screen, and I've been following what you're doing as well. And that's what I have to share. Just exciting to be here, and more excited for that January event coming up. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Melanie. And
I want go ahead. Then I
yeah,
just want to
just
quickly share something.
please, yeah, but I want to emphasize what Melanie said, right? We don't have to go immediately to Greenpeace, right, and have them sign the resolution, right? Almost every one of us owns a business or is part of a business. It could be the, mechanic shop in the corner that would adopt the climate restoration resolutions because they love their children too. So I think just between us, the people that are here, we can have 25 signed resolutions with our own businesses and companies and organizations, within the next week or so. So we haven't been pushing that forward because we're busy doing other things. But yeah, if it's easy for you, if you're the CEO of a company, have that company adopt the climate restoration resolution, and we'll add your logo to the list. Very good.
And
Judy.
send that out in the follow-up email, please, Ilan, so that
Yes.
it's easy for us to. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Well,
Judy.
Let's go to Mark. Let's go to Mark, and then you'll go first.
Okay. Mark, please.
Well, I just wanted to say two things. I'm very interested in the ventures part of this, where we can figure out ways of monetizing what we're doing. I mean, one example, since I worked in government, this idea of social impact bonds, starting ventures, they get rewarded for performance. The more carbon dioxide we sequester, the more, say, a government would pay us, for realizing that impact. The other thing I wanted to say was, I think we're in an era of multiple crises, and these crises will drive the formation of a new paradigm. People have mentioned how our existing form of capitalism isn't working. I think we will see a new form of capitalism, or whatever you want to call it, that's much more based on social impact. And so I see us eventually aligning with many other groups who have that same vision of how this meta crisis will drive the formation of this new paradigm that will eventually, hopefully, help get the human race at least through the remainder of this century without destroying itself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. And I'll reiterate that we're looking specifically for people who know how to manage money, right? People that know how to create these financial vehicles, that have been doing that hands-on, and can use that knowledge to interface with what we're doing so that we can actually make that happen in reality. So if you know of any financial professionals that are passionate about the climate, please send them our way. Thank you very much, Mark. You can put down the hand, and you go next.
Yeah, well, thank you very much again, Ilan, for this meeting. I think I saw that it's growing and growing. I'm one of the first ones that was with you, so it's very nice to see that. And we also have good news for our part. For the ones that they don't know me, I'm the CEO of Positive Polar. We are a expedition cruising company that has the mission to transform the shipping industry and transform the ships instead of ocean polluters in ocean restorers. So that's what we are working on, taking a portion of the waste that they produce and they drop into the ocean, the organic waste, and transform that into artificial whale feces. So the mechanics is something kind of different of what Peter is proposing, but it's complementary. And we think that working together, and that's why I'm here, working together, we can make a real movement. So yes, you can go to my website. We are part of that. What you are saying, Ilan, we are part of a corporation that is using your logo, and hopefully soon we are going to announce very very exciting news. We are working hard for that. So anyone that wants to check what we are doing, I will put my website there. And now, right now is the moment to join us because we are going to start hopefully next year with our first expedition. So thank you very much, Ilan, and maybe I will need from you some people of you on board in our expedition cruise ships, because the idea is to tell to the other people what we are planning to do, what is our vision. And one of the best places to do that is on board ships, because because of the nature of that, of being in the sea and sailing, where the experience that you can have and the connection and the human connection that you can have is very deep, and also the connection with the nature, specifically in expedition cruise ships. So that is what we are providing, and thank you very much, Ilan, for this opportunity, and hopefully then we can have a meeting more just a few people, because we have to move forward with the corporate stuff. Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Hugo, we're looking forward to hearing the good news when you're ready to tell them. And I want us to imagine, right? Maybe a year from now, we have a group of ambassadors sailing on the Positive Polar expedition ship, explaining climate restoration to the people that are there. This just would be fantastic. So thank you very much, Hugo, for what you're doing. John, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Elon. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'm still fairly new to the group. I've been involved a month or two, but very excited to be a part of such a committed group, and one that's truly is becoming a global movement. So that's terrific. I just wanted to build on the comments, especially from Robert and others, about businesses and incentives and partnering. There's still corporations out there that are very concerned about sustainability, and that is addressing their climate impact. That's definitely taken a hit this year in the US, but there are still, corporations that are want to try to address their impact on the climate. And I think we offer another way for them to do that. And there's many small businesses as well that I think have an interest. So I just think on the partnering side, there's going to be lots of opportunities for us to partner with others. And I think we have a solution that others would be very, very interested in. So that's really another exciting part of this. So thanks, Elon. Turn it back over to you.
Very good. Thank you very much, John. And now that we crossed the finish line with the OIF Challenge Grant, right, and we have the number of champions that we need, Chuck Tomaselli will forever be the first climate restoration ambassador. And Carl Page will forever be the first climate restoration angel. And so the challenge that I want to bring to you now is, who's going to be our first corporate founder, right? Who's the first company that's going to take on being a climate restoration founder and commit to whatever the amount is, 5, 25, 10, whatever we decide, to pledge that money to support climate restoration and forever be the first climate restoration corporate founder. So think about that. Maybe it's a company that you own. Maybe it's a company that your friend owns. Doesn't have to be a climate company, it can be any company, right, that makes that commitment. So our next big milestone is to find the first climate restoration corporate founder. If you have any thoughts, send them to us. Any other questions? Linda, go ahead.
I just want to say I'm really pleased that we've reached all the climate champions that we need to meet the challenge grant. I think we've shown it's possible. The U.S., not all of us are in the U.S., but the U.S. is one of the richest countries in the world. I'm sure Canada is also similarly up there in terms of the wealthy countries. So we've shown that we can put our resources for the future of humanity. Thanks so much to everybody who's participating.
Thank you, Linda. And I want to give a big shout out to Linda and AM, who's been really the core fundraising committee, working tirelessly every week with me on raising the money and making the phone calls and following up. So thank you very much, Linda and AM, for all of your hard work. And, we did it. Good job. Very good. Mark, did you want to?
And I can add, let me just add, look, I'm not wealthy. I'm a retired government employee, but I made that commitment because, I've looked at it and it's possible. And so there's a lot of us who don't think we can, but when we really look at our situation, we're able to. So thanks so much for everybody.
Thank you. And it doesn't have to be 5,000, it could be $100 a month, $1,000 here or there. For those of you that qualify, there's a simple process to send the money from your IRA that's called qualified charitable distribution. And then you get a tax benefit. So, you pay less, but the organization gets more. So if you have IRA and you want to put that to work, reach out to us and we'll explain exactly how that works. Linda, anything else, or you want to put down your hand? All right, thank you. Mark, you wanted to say something more?
Yeah, I just put something on the chat, but the companies that are registered as B Corps or registered benefit corporations are companies that supposedly have dual missions to do good for the community. So I would target them as potential corporate donors. And you can get lists of them. They're registered. Benefit corporations are registered with each state.
Mm-hmm.
And B Corps is a separate entity that people are registered with.
Yeah, very good, great idea. Thank you. Anybody else? Team Chamberlain, what time is it over there in New Zealand now?
Very civilized. I think it's 7:28 a.m. So we're in a civilized time zone.
Yeah. Very good.
I just put in the chat, Ilan, that we have 2 new ambassadors from this meeting, 2 people who want to be ambassadors.
Wow. Who are they?
Hilaire Agnama and Ellen Mubanga. So open to anyone else letting us know in the chat. Anyone can be an ambassador. It just involves probably doing what you're already doing and having an intention to reach out around you to your communities and participate in this conversation.
Perfect, Judy. Perfect. And we have somebody from New Zealand. I'm not going to say your name, team, and we have Dr. Sukla from India. So you're already ambassadors. You're already part of the conversation. You're already helping to move this forward. So if you want to make that official, it's a very simple process. You send us some information. We put your information on the website, and you're one of our ambassadors officially. Very good.
Ilan, I just want to make sure that people know that Ellen is from Zambia, and she has worked for the Zambian government. So you can expect miraculous results as an ambassador. So thank you, Ellen.
Perfect. Ellen, after Chuck say his piece, we would like to hear a few words from you, Ellen, if you want. Chuck, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, in the same vein as anyone can be an ambassador, I believe that everyone that's been on this call and is involved in this is part of the global movement team. whether or not you officially join. That's who you are. Thank you for being our partners.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chuck. Ellen, would you like to say a few words? Okay.
Ellen, you have to unmute yourself. There you
go.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. It's just a great joy to be part of the Restoration Alliance, to be an ambassador. I'm willing to. I just love this space, and I'm going to promote and speak and share and ensure that we mobilize different spaces to be part of the movement that is restoring the climate. Thank you so much. And I can say that we are affected as much as everybody else in the world is affected by the crisis. We are.
Very good, Ellen. Yeah, so imagine, right? Ellen is now the first climate restoration ambassador to Zambia. And then next year, we're going to have the Zambia Climate Restoration Center that will start developing these projects and bring the solutions and the funding. And we'll replicate that across other countries in Africa and the world. Wouldn't that be great? So we're at the end of our 90-minute. If anybody wants to say anything, we can wait for a few more minutes. But basically, we're out of time. Anybody else wants to say last words?
I would just like to say that, like most people here, I am in touch with thousands of people around the world that are involved in climate restoration, and as are many of us. And so I'm really well pleased to be in this group and know that we are very large. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. And the next step is for us to organize and really leverage that power of the people. Very good. So thank you very much. This has been such a pleasure. The last community update of 2025, the last one before we launch on January 22nd. And we crossed the finish line with the OIF Challenge Grant. So thank you. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon. And we'll see you in one of our next meeting. Thank you very much.
Good morning, too.
Or good morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great inspiration.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ilan.
Thank you, Hilaire.
Bye.
And Hugo will talk, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, great to see everybody. Chuck Harvey is an old S graduate. I told him you were too.
Harvey, I was waiting for you to say something. You always say great things. You're
Harvey,
you're
muted, Harvey. You and God speak in mute.
Oh, okay. How's that?
That's better.
Thank you. The only thing I put was a note in the chart which says that at the age of 90, which I turn in 2 days, my days have outlasted my dollars. And whereas I would happily have been a champion, as I was once with the Hunger Project, I just can't do it now. And I felt that kind of got in the way of my speaking. Yeah. So I'm part of it, but anonymous and in the background.
I'm going to say,
just
Harvey,
a cheerleader.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because we don't want anybody to think, oh, this doesn't pertain to me because I don't have the dollars now. Because we all bring, we all bring what we bring, our certain something that somebody else doesn't have. So thank you for bringing yours, having nothing to do with the money.
Well,
Harvey,
thank you.
Harvey, I just want to let you know that you may not have the money, but the people that you have impacted over the years on the Hunger Project and the millions of people's lives that you have impacted are going to have money, and they're going to do it. All you got to do is ask, and they will fulfill it. Simple.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Boy, that was a very straight message, wasn't it? All I have to do is ask. Well, clearly we know where the responsibility is. Thank you.
And
You
I
bet,
want
sir.
I
Thank
want to
you.
tell you, Harvey, the quote that we got from you in the last meeting, right? Where you said, "This is the most important meeting of my life." This word, just that quote is worth $1 million.
Thank you.
Harvey,
Thank you for doing that, and thank you for acknowledging me.
Harvey, I'd like to acknowledge something and share with you. As a result of this work, I had an experience of being moved because of first thinking that I would not be alive in 2050.
Yes.
And see that. And then I actually, it happened while reading Peter Fikowski's book, and about a week later, I was sitting in my same chair reading the same book, and I was moved to tears again.
Yes.
And I said, I looked and said, what is this all about? And I had done a calculation that I'd only be 107.
No, you'll be around.
In 2050, and I changed my life goal. So I want you to know that seeing you and how vibrant you look, that I feel empowered in reaching my goal. So thank you for that. And I invite you to, outdo me. You're 8 years ahead of me. I'm 82. And, that's right. You can only be 100 and figure it out. What a wonderful...
Let me share 3 things with you, one of which will resonate, I'm sure. Number one, I'm in the middle of a third transformation of my life. I had one at 40 when I took the EST training, so much so that I quit my practice and lived in a camper pickup truck for 23 months. Second training was when I did Randy McNamara's SCAR under no anesthesia, on the basis he was testing recreation of an incomplete experience cause it to be complete. So that's my second transformation. And the third one is now at 90, I have declared myself 4 years old in an entirely different realm, only to discover that the characteristics of a 4-year-old is who I always wanted to be. And I didn't know that until I declared myself 4.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to have met you. Oh, wonderful.
Oh, Duncan, and you.
I think we're kindred spirits, but we just didn't know it.
So, you guys,
Dr. Sukla, do you want to say a few words?
No, I would just encourage the ambassadors and the champions to step forward and look into the challenge for money fundraising.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I just want to complete the previous conversation. So I think everybody's invited to Chuck's 107th birthday and Harvey's 115th birthday on Positive Polar on the ship, right? We're going to have mimosas.
There we go.
Look at the sunset.
And if not, at least I will be there in spirit, and I trust Chuck you as well.
So one last piece of that.
I just want to say something. Obviously, I want to be the first corporation because we have the first corporation. So tell me how much that will be. I want to say more privately, but yeah, I think it's obvious that we have to be the first corporation. So tell me how to do it, and we will do it. Okay.
Thank you, Hugo. Let's take it aside because I think we're gonna give you a discount because of who you are.
Can I say one more about children since Harvey brought it up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Chuck and I were at a screening of Damon Gameau's new film, The Future Council, which is about the work he's doing with 9 to 16-year-olds now, and taking them. The film is a portrayal of him taking them across Europe as a team, confronting businesses and talking with businesses about partnering on their future. So I wanted to say this. He said in the movie, our actions right now are stealing their future. our inaction is stealing their present. So we had a question and answer kind of talk after that. And I asked him to say more about that because I was intrigued about it. And I think this is so important because we're talking about how this is important to us because of future generations, those 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds and the ones who aren't even born yet. And he said, I was so moved by this. Actually, my husband and I cried through half the film. He said, it's the heaviness. It's the heaviness they're carrying about the world and the climate. That's the present. That's their present. It's not screening in the US yet, but it's called the Future Council. And you can actually Google the Future Council and the website will come up. He said, but it's the heaviness they're carrying about the world and the climate that we've given them, these young children. And then I saw, but we carry that as adults too. It's some of what helps as we come together like this. It lightens the heaviness of this world we're living in. So these children were amazing. And we have got to get the film screened here. For
the 22nd, Judy, I've already reached out to see if we could get it a separate launch for that. And I'm working with Mark, who has a connection on it. So it becomes one of those parallel events to our launch. That's the idea. So. And just so that everyone knows it, and I speak it again, I actually shared what I shared earlier about raising my life to cycle to 107 with Damon Gameau. And I shared that story about the filmmaker, that story. And he said to me, if you live to 107, he will do a movie about my life and that path to get climate restoration. So I'm planning on keeping him alive, and Hugo, it would be great to have the showing of it on that voyage that we're putting together.